to bring you extraordinary pictures from the United States, where both towers of the World Trade Center are now on fire.
Good afternoon, and sorry for interrupting your current TV show. This is Shakespeare's News, and I am Elizabeth Soto. Today, two Shakespeare scholars are discussing about him. Let's see.
The terms under which Malvolio is eradicated from Twelfth Night are very much the same as those applied to Shylock, in the sense that both of them do not belong to the play.
Indeed, they seem to be misfits
Yes.
in there, but whenever we're talking about Shakespeare, we mustn't think only about the play itself, but also about England, about English history, about English society. Because whenever Shakespeare wrote, regardless of whether the play is geographically set in Denmark or in Venice, it's always about England.
Yes.
And regardless of whether we can feel sometimes in our modern times some sympathy for these characters, that we must admit it, they suffer in the play. For the audience of those times, it wasn't that way. They were meant to be hated somehow.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point, because, well, Shylock, on the one hand, he's a Jew, and Jews are not welcome in the Merchant of Venice. We have to bear in mind that Merchant of Venice is a Christian play, and Shakespeare tries to show the conflict that Christian and Jews have. What's the word? Usury. Usury is the key word, and the audience is not supposed to favor it.
Yeah, right. The audience is supposed to hate usually because it clashes with their own beliefs.
Yes.
The audience wouldn't do that, so they hate Shylock for that. But well, let's not forget about Malvolio, right?
Yeah.
Malvolio is also supposed to be hated somehow, because as we know, he's a Puritan, and Puritans, well, in vague terms, in simple terms, they hate having fun, they hate pleasure, and they hate theatre.
Yes, they hate theater. Yes.
So, since they hate theatre, since Malvolio hates theatre, there is this very weird thing happening at the theatre when the play is being represented, because the audience is looking at Malvolio, who hates theatre, and they're like, how can you hate theatre? We were looking at you
Yes,
making theatre. So
exactly.
So the audience is meant to hate Malvolio for that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, still, there are differences in the disappearances of the character, in the sense that, I mean, the disappearances are very much related to the nature that they have. For example, Malvolio has the belief that clashes the audiences, because, as you said before, he's a Puritan and it doesn't belong in the play. And he's somewhat innocent, but still he swears revenge on the rest, but he never finishes his revenge.
He just disappears.
Yeah, exactly. He disappears. He vanishes like that.
I would say that his identity is so destroyed after all the attacks, the pranks,
all the pranks.
that he just vanishes because he no longer has anything.
Exactly. While Shylock, on the other hand, he's like, in my opinion, like evil from the beginning, because he plots Antonio's murder from the very beginning, And even though Antonio has money, but he has it inverted on the ships.
Right, it's all on the ocean.
Yeah, it's on the ocean. And compared to the money that Shylock already has, and he really was a criminal, I would say, because I'm not talking about the usury, but talking about the attempt of murder, because as said before, he hates the Christians and he wants revenge, and that's why at the end of the play he is turned into a Christian in order to be one of them, and his identity is destroyed because of that, and that's why he's erased from the play in a way as well.
Yeah, and everything is destroyed by making him become a Christian, because being a Christian, he's even unable to carry out what used to be his job.
Yes.
Which is something very important as well. His job is taken away from him, his money is taken away from him, his daughter is taken away from him.
His whole essence.
Yeah, and there is one more thing that's quite important as well, the ring.
Oh yes, the ring.
I don't know if you recall that he has a ring that I believe it belonged to his wife.
Oh yeah.
And that one's stolen as well.
Yeah.
So even his mementos,
Are taken.
his past, it just fades away.
Yes.
I have possessed your grace of what I purpose, and by our holy Sabbath have I sworn to have the due and forfeit of my bond. If you deny it, let the danger light upon your charter and your city's freedom. You'll ask me why I'd rather choose to have a weight of carrion flesh than to receive 3,000 ducats. I will not answer that, but say it is my humor. Is it answered? What if my house be troubled by rats, and I be pleased to give 10,000 ducats to have it banned? What are you answered yet? Some men there are love not a gaping pig, some that are mad if they behold a cat, and others, when the bagpipe sings in the nose, cannot contain their urine, for affection, master of passion, sways it to the mood of what it likes or loathes. Now for your answer. As there is no firm reason to be rendered why he cannot abide a gaping pig, why he a harmless necessary cat, why he a woolen bagpipe, but of force must yield to such inevitable shame as to offend, himself being offended. So I can give no reason, nor I will not, more than a lodged hate and a certain loathing I bear Antonio, that I follow thus a losing suit against him. Are you answered now?
Good afternoon. Today, I'm going to interview two main figures, Feste and Puck. Are they tricksters or are they fools? So, Mr. Puck, do you consider yourself a trickster?
That question actually offends me, sir. If you have any knowledge about European mythology or folklore, you have known I'm a trickster, who's surrounded by the magic of the goods. After all, that was the inspiration that Shakespeare used in order to create my character, as well as Oberon and Bottom. In simple words, I'm a prankster. Something that Bottom knows very well. After all, I made him a donkey. Actually, he's right here with me, but now I've turned him into a dog. Although my prank backfired, since now he's famous because he was hired by Lippy Gas to be their mascot. Well, anyway, if you read Bloom's work, according to him, I'm a mischief maker. My name originally meant a demon, out of for mischief or a wicked man. Even my other name, Robin Goodfellow, was a popular name for the devil. And as I'm an honest Puck, It's true that I did everything under the name of my king Oberon, and I didn't really mean any harm, even if Bottom doesn't agree. After all, I'm surrounded by magic. I don't have those meaningless human feelings, and if you don't like my doings, you can pretend that's all a dream.
Well, thank you, Mr. Pat. So, Festa, the same question. What do you think you are?
Seriously?
Yes.
Have you seen my hat? Do I look like a simple fool to you? But, well, no. I am a wise observer, or a wise fool, if you prefer. As Foucault mentions, the characters of the madmen, the simpleton, or the fools like me assume a great importance in that time. I am no longer a ridiculous silhouette. I became the holder of truth. I am the guardian of truth. I told the lovers about love. I told the young about life. And I told the liars about insolence.
Can you give me an example of that?
Of course, my ignorant friend. For example, let's take Lady Olivia. She was a fool. A really big fool who was wasting her youth and beauty over her dead brother. She even thought that his soul was in heaven. What a fool Madonna! And we also have that idiot obsessed with love Orsino. Also a big fool. He didn't understand anything. He changes his mind all the time, just like the opal stone changes its colors. And if you want to know more about the fools I know, you can buy my new CD, The Songs of Feste, where I tell the truth about everyone.
Well, thank you, Mr. Feste, and thank you, you too. This was all. Thank you. Now, a topic that has been very discussed nowadays. Shakespeare heroines marrying John. What do people think about it? Let's see.
First of all, you have to bear in mind that the role of woman during Shakespeare's time. Essentially, woman's cycle of life was virginity, marriage, motherhood, widowhood. Also, they were considered as feeble and unwit. The whole Elizabethan society was organized in a patriarchal way. That is to say, all important positions were occupied by men, except for Queen Elizabeth, of course, who often described herself as a weak because of her gender. However, Queen Elizabeth was a great example of a woman who did not need a man to be successful.
Observe, Lord Burleigh. I am married to England.
And women, during this period, were considered inferior to men, and even male property, once marriage was consummated. So, we're going to ask our citizens, what do you think about Shakespeare's plays and their societal criticism towards the unfair treatment that women were subjected to? Do you agree with him?
Yes, I agree, since that can be seen in the way he portrayed his heroines, most of them brave and full of weak women, defying social standards, which is the case of Hermia in Midsummer Night's Dream, who disobeys her father will when she refuses to marry Demetrius, something unthought for people during Elizabethan times. Further, if we think of the character of Portia in the play Julius Caesar, during the play, Portia discusses the meaning of marriage with her husband Brutus. She asks if her role is only the shared bed and meals with him, but otherwise just being visible, which is exactly the role of a good wife in that era. If so, she claims, I am not but a harlot. His reply is that she is his true and honorable wife. Then she demands to be treated as equal since she does not consider herself as inferior to men. Finally, please notice the character of Portia in Merchant of Venice, who is an intelligent woman who even follows her father's will on how to select a husband. She gives Bassanio a hint for him to choose the right casket during the test, somehow manipulating the test to marry the guy she is in love with. However, even though she accepts submissively to marry with Bassanio, later, when Bassanio receives a letter containing bad news, Portia demands, as well as the Portia in Julius Caesar, her husband, to share the information with her. She says, "I'm half yourself, and must freely have the half of anything that this same paper brings you." So well, we can agree that Shakespeare hearings marrying John comes as a voice of protest that called for a chance in the way Elizabethan society treats women. And considering that theater had a strong influence in people from all social classes, portraying women as strong and weak as men may have set the foundation in the long road for women equals right in society.
What's up, guys? You've caught me doing some research because our friend Pablo from Quilpue wants to know what's the important and significance of festive farewell song in the context of the play and Bakhtin's idea of the carnival. Can it be compared to the farewell in Midsummer's Night Dream? Well, festive from Twelfth Night is the most festive of fools, representing the spirit of party and fun, even mockery. In a play where music is key and ubiquitous, where everyone but the clown is proved a fool, while in fact it is the very same characters who prove themselves fools, it is Feste who stays somehow in the background, observing and analyzing, telling us the whole truth and nothing but the truth. This last idea is extremely important, and it is in close connection to Bakhtin's idea of carnival. Bakhtin posited that it is within the carnival, with all its indecencies, images and curses, where authority and truth are relative, because the carnival allows for an alternative truth. An instance where this is represented in the play is when Feste, who is supposed to be the most disposable of characters for being at the bottom of the pyramid, is protected by Olivia over Orsino. Music, as I mentioned, is of paramount importance in the play, as Orsino himself claims in the first scene, "If music be the food of love, play on, give me excess of it, that is so fitting." In fact, the play ends with a song, which is sung by Feste, the festive, which is not only a song, but it is also the moment with Feste has, in Bakhtin's term, the chance to look through everything and everyone, from his superior, non-full position. His message is so wise and strong that it penetrates the barriers of the play, and closes not only the story itself, but also the audience's experience. Ironically, this ending is quite melancholic instead of carnivalesque. He lets the audience know that the very purpose of being in the theater is for them to be part of a carnival, and that the actors are there to provide them with fun. Midsummer's Night Dream also ends with some words by the fool Puck,
who apologizes to the audience instead, but still he applies Bakhtin's ideas when he points out that if there was anything they felt offended by, they can just pretend it is a dream. This dream represents the carnival itself, and in the carnival, nothing shall harm our indestructible self. Well, I hope I've answered your question, Pablo.
Yeah. The 12th Night 1996 movie adaptation is directed by Trevor Nunn, for 20 years a stalwart of the Royal Shakespeare Company. So he knows what he's talking about and knows who the right actors are to play the characters. The soundtrack of this movie is wonderful. Feste's songs are beautiful, amazing. However, there are things that could be changed. For example, the language for this play has been simplified and clarified. However, this movie still maintains the spirit of the play. Besides that, I remember that this play has been addressed in many other works. For example, it has been noted that Disney's Mulan has many similarities to Twelfth Night. For example, Mulan dresses as a man and joins the army under the pseudonym of Poe, so to gain honor to her family. Both characters, and when I say both, I mean Viola and Mulan, are women in unfamiliar lands, pretending to be men for the sake of their family, and as luck would have it, they both fall in love with their superiors. Who would have thought that? Mulan falls in love with her captain Li Shang when Viola falls for Duke Orsino. Sir Toby, Sir Andrew and Feste, the comic relief characters in Twelfth Night, and Ling, Yao and Chimpo from Mulan are characters uncannily similar to each other. And both Sir Toby and Chimpo are jovial but dim-witted, while Sir Andrew and Ling are the classic juvenile fools, and Yao and Feste, while normally good-natured, have a short temper and vengeful side. Chan, chan, chan. Or war is the H word in Futurama. This is another, it could be taken as another reference to Twelfth Night, since the character Lila becomes Lee Lemon in order to join the army, and the character of Zab Brannigan feels attracted to Lee Lemon, even though he doesn't know that Lemon is Lila. So even though Zab is a heterosexual man, he feels attracted to Lee.
That has been everything for today's afternoon and night. See you next time and rest well.